I could please have the attorneys place their appearances on the record, please.
Good morning, Edith Bush for the Office of the State Attorney.
Brianna Williams, Public Defender.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. And then Mr. Sauerhaber will call your client first.
Okay.
Sir, good morning. Please tell me your name.
Noel Velasquez.
All right, this is a case out of Osceola County, case number 20 CF 1013. Counselor, could I have you place your appearance on the record, please?
Robert Sauerheber representing Mr. Velasquez.
All right, Mr. Velasquez, could I please have you raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Sir, please state your full name and date of birth for the record.
Noel Velasquez, 10-1202.
Do you read and understand English?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Velasquez, in this case, you are going to be entering a plea to burglary of a conveyance, which is a third-degree felony. The maximum punishment for that offense is 5 years in the Department of Corrections, 5 years of probation, and up to a $5,000 fine. You are also entering a plea to petty theft of $100 or more, which is a first-degree misdemeanor. The maximum penalty is 1 year in the county jail, 1 year of probation, and a $1,000 fine. Do you understand the charges that you are entering a plea to and the maximum penalties?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's my understanding that you wish to change your previously entered plea of not guilty and enter a plea of no contest. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Have you taken any medication today for any reason?
No.
Have you ever been treated for any mental illness or emotional disturbance, or are you suffering from any of those at this time?
No, ma'am.
How far did you complete in your education?
9th grade.
And did you read the plea form, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you discuss the plea form and the plea with your lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he answer all of your questions for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything that he explained?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all of the constitutional rights that were set forth in the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that you'll be giving up those rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Velasquez, I have your plea form here in my hand. Do you recognize your signature? Can you see it from here? Do you recognize your signature on the plea form, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Velasquez, are you entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or coerced you into entering this plea today?
No, ma'am.
It's my understanding that the agreement is you're pleading to a lesser included offense of burglary of a conveyance on count 1. Count 2, you're pleading to the lesser included offense of petty theft, and count 3 will be null prost. You will be adjudicated guilty, sentenced to 1 year in jail on each count. Those are to run concurrent to one another, along with court costs. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anybody promised you anything else than what I've just stated here in open court?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the representation of your lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you are not a United States citizen, that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you also understand that that this plea may subject you to involuntary civil commitment as a sexually violent predator upon completion of your sentence?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then is the state and the defense stipulating to a factual basis?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And, Your Honor, I believe the state needs to sign the plea form.
Sure. Let me take a look. Yes, Ms.
I'm
Bush,
not-
that's correct. This form does need to be signed. If you'd like to approach. And then, Mr. Sauerhaber, did you have an opportunity to review the score sheet?
I did.
Do you have any objection to the score sheet?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And is the state or the defense aware of any DNA evidence that would exonerate the defendant?
The state is not, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Velasquez, at this time, I am going to accept your plea. I find that you are alert and intelligent, that your plea is freely and voluntarily entered, and that you understand the nature of the charges against you, and you are represented by competent counsel with whom you say you are satisfied. And I do find that there is a factual basis for your plea. Ms. Bush, is there any legal reasoning why we can't proceed to sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and I do have the score sheet, and I understand there is no objection. Anything else from the defense before I impose sentencing?
No, that's the score sheet that shows 44 points even, correct?
It does.
Okay, and he has 173 days credit for time served.
Thank you.
as far as I can tell.
All right. Mr. Velazquez, at this time, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 1 year in the Orange County Jail with 173 days credit for time served. Those are to run concurrent to one another and to any previously imposed sentences, and you will have to pay court costs. Those will be due by September 23rd of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Anything else, sir?
That's it for me,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Your
See you
Honor,
later.
the state announces a null pros as to count 3.
Thank you, Ms. Bush. Yes, you may. I don't have to sign this. This is the original plea form. Will you guys send that back to Osceola?
They would ask that we get everything that's out of county to,
Perfect, okay.
and they will.
All right, let me just make this.
I put 365 and credit
173? Okay, Spanish.
Already previously certified. I'm sorry, previously sworn in. I apologize.
That's okay, thank you. Good morning.
It's not a good morning.
We are in courtroom 1 at the BRC.
Yes, I will dial in.
Great.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, do they have the headsets on? Because I'm getting no response.
They do.
I will try again dialing in.
Okay, thank you. And will you call that performance? Thank you. Okay.
No idea.
He says he can hear me, but I can barely hear the defendant.
Sí, ahora la escucho bien.
I can hear you.
Ms. Bush, this is also a plea form that I'll need to have you sign.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Your Honor?
Yes.
So this is a felony plea. Do you know if the attorney on this case is appearing virtually or if they plan to be here for the plea?
She's appearing by phone.
Oh, just making sure. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, please.
She's on.
Okay.
Ms. Dubkin?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Buenos días.
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm doing well.
All right.
¿Cómo?
Thank you. All right, this is a out-of-county plea from Seminole County in 19 CF 1929. Ms. Dubka, could I just have you place your appearance on the record, please?
Yes, Chloe's Upton for the defense.
All right. And, sir, good morning. Please tell me your name.
Leonardo Villarroel Cabrera.
Leonardi Villarol Cabrera.
Please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Sí.
Yes.
Sir, please state your name for the record.
Leonardo Villarroel Cabrera.
Leonardi Villarruel Cabrera.
Sir, do you read and understand Spanish?
Sí.
Yes.
In this case, you have been charged with fraudulent use of a credit card and criminal use of personal identification information. These are both third-degree felonies. The maximum punishment for each offense is 5 years in the Department of Corrections, 5 years of probation, and up to a $5,000 fine. Do you understand these charges and the maximum penalties?
Sí.
Yes.
It is my understanding that at this time you wish to change your previously entered plea of not guilty and enter a plea of no contest. Is that what you wish to do today?
Sí, claro.
Yes. Of course.
Are you currently under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No, nada.
No, none.
Have you taken any medication today for any reason?
No.
No.
Have you ever been treated for any mental illness or emotional disturbance, or are you suffering from those at this time?
No, jamás.
No. Never.
How far did you go in school?
Cuarto medio.
I'm sorry, the interpreter needs to clarify.
Es universidad. No, no lo terminé.
4th year of university.
And sir, did you read the plea form?
Sí.
Yes.
Have you discussed this case and your plea form with your lawyer?
Sí, lo hablé.
Yes, I did.
Did your lawyer answer all of your questions?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you understand everything your attorney explained to you?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you understand the constitutional rights that were set forth on the plea form?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you understand that by entering into this plea today that you waive or give up those constitutional rights?
Sí.
Yes.
You understand that by entering this plea today that we will not have a trial on your case and I will impose sentence if I accept the plea?
Sí.
Yes.
Sir, I have a plea form here that's completed in Spanish. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but do you recognize your signature on the plea form?
Ajá. Sí, yo igual lo tengo.
Yes, I have one as well.
Okay. Are you entering this plea today freely and voluntarily?
Sí.
Yes.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or coerced you into entering this plea today?
No, nadie.
No. No one.
The agreement that I have is a withhold adjudication. You're going to be placed on probation for 24 months. You'll pay the cost of prosecution, the cost of defense, and all mandatory court costs. You're to complete 96 hours of community service at the rate of 8 hours per month, and any portion of that may be purchased at a rate of $10 per hour if all other financial obligations are current. You will pay restitution of $165 to Cheryl Cornelius at a rate of $30 per month. You understand and accept that you are permanently trespassed from the following locations: Walmart Plaza at 200 State Road 434 in Altamont Springs, Target Plaza at 886 State Road 436 in Altamont Springs. You're not to have any contact with Cheryl Cornelius. You're going to reimburse the Seminole County Sheriff's Office $495.95, cost of investigation at a rate of $40 per month, and you shall acquire and maintain full-time gainful employment or provide proof of employment, or provide proof of 12 employment applications per month. Upon request, you shall provide for financial documentation to probation in order to determine ability to meet financial obligations. Is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Sí, señoría.
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than what your lawyer has placed on the record in court today?
No, no. Todo sigue igual.
Are you satisfied with your lawyer's representation?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Sí, lo sé.
Yes, I know.
Do you also understand that this plea may subject you to involuntary civil commitment as a sexually violent predator upon completion of your sentence?
Sí.
Yes.
And is the state and the defense stipulating to a factual basis?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Dubkin, did you have a chance to review the score sheet?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Do you have any objection to the score sheet?
Not at this time.
Okay. And then is the state aware of any DNA evidence that would exonerate the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Is the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, at this time, I will accept your plea. I find that you are alert and intelligent, that your plea is freely and voluntarily entered, that you understand the nature of the charges against you, and you are represented by competent counsel with whom you say you are satisfied. I also find that there is a factual basis for acceptance of the plea. Is there any legal reasoning why we cannot proceed to sentencing, Ms. Bush?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else before I do impose the sentence?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, at this time, I'm going to withhold adjudication, sentence you to 24 months supervised probation. You will pay the cost of prosecution, cost of defense, and all mandatory court costs. You will complete 96 hours of community service at the rate of $8 hours per month, any portion of which may be purchased at a rate of $10 per hour if all other financial obligations are current. Your restitution is $165 to Cheryl Cornelius at a rate of $30 per month. And you are permanently trespassed from the Walmart Plaza and the Target Plaza in Altamont Springs, Florida. You're not to have any contact with Cheryl Cornelius. You'll be reimbursing the Seminole County Sheriff's Office $495.95 for the cost of investigation at a rate of $40 per month. You will acquire and maintain full-time gainful employment or provide proof of 12 employment applications per month. Upon request of your probation officer, you will provide financial documentation in order to determine your ability to meet financial obligations. All of your payments are going to begin 30 days from your release from custody. How many days does Mr. Cabrera have in custody?
90, Your Honor.
90? I'm also going to sentence you to 90 days in jail with credit for 90 days time served. Sir, you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. Thank you.
Okay,
Anything
está
else,
bien,
Ms.
gracias.
Zupkin?
No, Your Honor, that was it.
All right, thank you.
Have a great one.
You too.
Your Honor, the interpreter's having problems with this connection. Are there any more Spanish cases?
One more, it looks like.
Could I please, I can either offer my services over the PA because I'm having problems hearing with the headset system that we use for Simul, or I can ask that you disconnect and another interpreter can take over, whichever you prefer.
We can do it over the PA, that's fine.
No problem, I'll do that.
Okay.
Oh, one more thing, Your Honor, could I have the case number, Mr. Cabrera?
Yes, it is 19 CF 1929.
Thank you.
I'm gonna fill all that out after court. Good morning, your name?
Buenos días, su nombre.
Nicole Rivera Melendez.
Nicole Rivera Melendez.
This is case number 20MM823. Ma'am, you were arrested for battery domestic violence.
Señora, usted le arrestaron por agresión física debido a un acto de violencia doméstica.
There is probable cause.
¿Existen indicios de criminalidad?
I'll appoint the public defender.
¿Se le designa defensor público?
And Madam Interpreter, this is directed toward the witness. Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Do you speak English?
A little bit.
Okay, Madam Interpreter, could you interpret
Yes.
for the witness as well?
No problem.
Sir, I'll need you to raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Señor, necesito que levante la mano derecha para prestar juramento.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
¿Jura usted que va a decir la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad, lo jura ante Dios?
Sí.
Yes.
Please tell me your name.
Por favor, indique su nombre.
José Luis Ríos Sepúlveda.
José Ríos Sepúlveda.
Yes.
Sir, do you want to have contact with Miss Melendez?
Señor, ¿sigue usted queriendo tener contacto con la señora Meléndez?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you afraid of her?
¿Acaso usted le tiene temor?
No.
No.
Do you live together?
¿Ustedes viven bajo el mismo techo?
Sí.
Yes.
Would you like to continue living together?
¿Desearía usted seguir conviviendo con ella?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you have any children in the home?
¿Acaso hay niños en el hogar?
No.
No.
Sir, do you have any concerns about your safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
Señor, ¿acaso tiene usted alguna preocupación con respecto a su propia seguridad si fuera a permitir que ella regresara a estar con usted?
No.
No.
Ms. Bush, any questions?
Licenciada Bush, ¿tiene usted alguna pregunta? No, su señoría.
Ms. Williams?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Licenciada Williams, no.
Ms. Melendez, you are not to have any hostile contact with the victim. Do you understand what that means?
Señora Meléndez, se le prohíbe a usted tener ningún tipo de contacto hostil con la víctima. ¿Usted entiende lo que significa eso?
Sí.
Yes.
You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Prohibido también la tenencia de armas de fuego o arma alguna.
I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
En este momento dado, se le va a conceder libertad provisional.
And Your Honor, for the record, are you allowing her to return back to Puerto Rico on pretrial release?
Su señoría, para que conste en actas, ¿acaso le está permitiendo a ella poder regresar a Puerto Rico estando bajo libertad provisional?
Ma'am, you live in Puerto Rico?
Yes.
Señora, ¿acaso usted vive en Puerto Rico?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you understand if you return to Puerto Rico and the state of Florida files charges against you that you will have to return to the state of Florida to face those charges?
¿Usted ha entendido que si fuera a regresar a Puerto Rico y la Fiscalía interpone cargos penales en contra de usted, le va a tocar usted tener que regresar a la Florida para enfrentar esas acusaciones?
Sí.
Yes.
If you fail to return, there will be a warrant issued for your arrest and it will not have a bond, ma'am.
Y si usted falta en regresar, se emitirá orden de arresto en contra de usted y no se le concederá fianza alguna.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Ms. Bush?
Yes, Your Honor, if we could at least have a correct address with the clerk of the court filed, because we are showing a Harrisburg, Pennsylvania address.
Okay.
Sí, su señoría, si podemos hacer que dé la dirección actualizada a la Secretaría del Juzgado, porque aquí lo que consta es que tiene ella una dirección en Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
What is your address, ma'am?
Señora, indique su dirección.
Urbanización Fronteras de Bayamón, calle Julio Alvarado, 131 Bayamón, Puerto Rico, 00.
Un momento, despacio. Fronteras de Bayamón, perdón, ¿luego qué va?
calle Julio Alvarado, 131, Bayamón, Puerto Rico, 00961.
00161.
00961.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to have to spell this all out for you because it's a Spanish address.
Okay.
So the first word is U-R-B as in boy, A-N, I, Z as in zebra, A, C as in cat, I-O-N. The next word is F as in Frank, R, O, N as in Nancy, T as in Tom, E, R, A, S, followed by the word D as in dog, E as in elephant, then a space followed by the word B as in boy, A, Y, A, M as in Mary, O, N. The next entry, which is the street, is C as in cat, A, L, L, E, space, J as in Jack, U, L, I, O, space, Alvarado, A, L, V as in Victor, A, R, A, D, O, 131. Bayamon, that's the house number, 131.
Okay.
Then the next entry is Bayamon, which is the city. B as in boy, A, Y, A, M as in Mary, O, N as in Nancy, Puerto Rico, PR. Zip code 001961.
961.
001961.
No.
No?
No.
Dímelo.
00961.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The zip code is 00961. There is no one in between.
00961.
Correct.
Okay. I got it. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Do you have any questions?
Gracias, señora. ¿Tiene usted alguna pregunta?
No. No.
No.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor. May the interpreter disconnect, or is there still Spanish
I have
cases?
one more.
Oh, okay.
Your Honor, we should too.
Okay, there's two more. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Douglas.
Señor, buenos días. Su nombre, Douglas.
Is your last name
Barrios. Barrios.
Barrios.
Sir, you have 3 cases. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in all of them. In 26
Señor, usted. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
Señor, usted tiene 3 cargos y le voy a designar un defensor público para representarlo a usted en cada uno.
Case number 20 CF 6127. You failed to appear, sir.
En el caso 20 CF 6127, usted faltó comparecer.
Your bond is set at none.
Por lo tanto, se impone prisión preventiva.
You'll have to have your lawyer file a bond motion in Division 15.
Va a tener usted que solicitarle a su abogado que presente un pedimento para fianza en la División 15.
I did email Judge Wilson this morning, who is the judge handling the case, but I haven't received a response.
Sí le mandé un correo electrónico a la juez Wilson, la cual es la juez ocupándose de este caso, pero todavía no he recibido respuesta de ella.
You have 20 CF 5622, another failure to appear.
Usted tiene otro caso, el 20 CF 5622, donde también faltó comparecer.
In that case, your bond will be set at $2,500.
En ese caso dado, la fianza se fijará en $2,500.
And you have a case out of Palm Beach, which is also a failure to appear.
Y luego usted tiene otro caso que viene de Palm Beach, donde también faltó comparecer.
I also emailed Palm Beach this morning and I'm still waiting a response to see if they'd like to modify the bond.
Y yo me comuniqué también esta mañana con los de Palm Beach para ver si ellos quisieran que yo modificara la fianza.
On
Y
that,
estoy esperando respuesta.
on that case, once we receive a response from Palm Beach County, we will bring you back to court to let you know what the outcome was.
En ese caso dado, tan pronto recibamos la respuesta de West Palm Beach, haremos que usted regrese a la sala y le informaremos del resultado.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
And Your Honor, is the Palm Beach set at 0 right now?
Correct.
Su señoría en este momento dado le está concediendo fianza con Palm Beach. Así es.
Okay. Thank you.
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Entonces,
Sí.
yo voy a estar ahora aquí detenido.
So that means I'll stay detained here?
Yes.
¿Qué
Así
tiempo?
es. For how long?
Until there's a bond set on your cases or until you resolve them.
Hasta que se fije fianza en los casos o si no, hasta que usted los resuelva.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Buenos días, dígame su nombre.
Martín Sánchez.
Martin Sanchez.
Mr. Sanchez, you have 3 cases. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in each case.
Señor Sánchez, usted está enfrentando tres casos y le voy a designar defensor público para representarle a usted en cada uno.
In 17 CF 13172, it's been alleged that you have violated your probation.
En el caso 17 CF 13172 se está diciendo que usted incumplió con su régimen de libertad vigilada.
The allegations are that you failed to report to probation and that you moved without getting permission.
Las acusaciones que usted faltó reportarse al oficial de la libertad vigilada y que además se mudó de su vivienda sin recibir permiso.
In that case, your bond is set at none.
En ese caso, se impone prisión preventiva.
And you will see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days.
Y en los próximos 7 a 10 días le traerán a usted ante el juez Whitehead.
In 20 CF 11472, you were arrested for possession of synthetic cannabinoids and providing false ID to law enforcement. There is
En el caso 20 CF 11472 se le está acusando de tenencia de cannabis sintética y de presentar identificación falsa a agentes policiales.
your bond on count 1 is 1,000. Your bond on count 2 is 100.
En el primer cargo la fianza será 1,000 y en el segundo 100.
And in 20 MO 936, you were arrested for open container.
Y en el 20 MO 936 le arrestaron por tener un envase abierto.
There is probable cause, and I'll release you on your own recognizance.
Existe indicios de criminalidad y será usted puesto en libertad con caución juratoria.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta, por favor?
May I please be allowed to ask a question?
Sure.
Sí,
Adelante.
Su señoría, yo no tenía ninguna droga como cannabis o como dice alega el oficial de que yo tenía alguna droga de cannabis en mi posesión. Para nada, no, yo no brego con drogas y no ando con drogas. Sí estaba tomando.
Translator, if we could remind my client that he is best to remain silent about any facts of this case.
La licenciada está indicando que por favor le conviene guardar silencio con respecto a los hechos en este caso dado. Your Honor, does Your Honor want the interpreter to do the translation or just leave it alone?
If it was about the facts of his case, I would just leave it alone. If you have a procedural question, sir, I'm happy to answer that for you. But if it's about the facts or a defense you might have, I'm not going to hear that this morning.
Señor, si usted tiene una pregunta con respecto a los procedimientos, con gusto le escucharé, pero si tiene que ponerse a hablar con respecto a los hechos o lo que ha ocurrido, no estoy dispuesta a escuchar eso esta mañana.
¿Y quién es ella?
I am a public defender.
Who is she? Soy defensora pública.
And an attorney from my office will be in touch with you as soon as possible to talk about all the facts of your case.
Uno de los abogados de mi oficina irá a donde usted para hablar con usted tan pronto se le sea posible para poder así hablar de los hechos en la causa.
Sí, solamente lo que yo le quería decir al juez que el cargo de droga es fabricado. Yo no tenía ninguna posesión de ninguna droga.
Yes, all I wanted to say to the judge is that the drug charges have been fabricated. I did not have any drugs on me.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Está bien,
Gracias.
señor. Gracias. Thank you.
Madam Interpreter, thank you for your help this morning.
You're welcome, Your Honor. The interpreter will disconnect.
Okay. Ma'am, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Deborah Ann Bess.
Miss Bess, this is 20 CF 11354. You were arrested for battery 1 prior. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You may have a one-time return with the police to get your things if needed. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms.
May I ask?
Your bond is $1,000, ma'am. I'm going to revoke the bonds in 20 CF 11187 and 20 CT 965. Those will be set at none. Do you have a question, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. I don't know what to do with these people. They know the law far better than I do.
Okay.
And they're determined that by the time they're done, they're going to take my home and I'm going to live in the
Bess?
woods.
Ms. Bess, I'm an attorney at the Orange County Public Defender's Office, and I just want to remind you that the purpose of this hearing is not to talk about the facts of the case. The purpose of this hearing is just to see whether or not you set a bond and things like that. An attorney from my office will be in touch with you to talk about the facts of this case, okay? And any defenses that you may have.
Okay, because
Okay.
I'm scared.
Well,
I
Ms. Beth,
understand.
if they live there and you don't want them in your home and it's your home, there's a civil process that you'll need to talk with your lawyer about to have them evicted. Okay? Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you, hon.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Gregory Allen Heise, Your Honor.
Mr. Heise, you were here in case number 20MM472. You were arrested for disorderly intoxication and trespassing in an occupied structure. There is probable cause. Was there an offer for Mr. Heise?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer would be an adjudication of guilt, five days Orange County Jail, credit for time served, and I'm 21. He has 3 days credit time served. No return to the property of what I believe is now a closed Steak and Shake on South Orange Blossom Trail in Apopka. It might still be open. And no contact with witnesses, abide by all trespass warnings and court costs.
All right. Mr. Heise, did you want to accept that offer?
Ma'am, I'd be glad to if I could understand what the district attorney just said.
I will repeat it for you, sir. So the offer was an adjudication of guilt on each count. You'd be sentenced to 5 days in jail. You have credit for 3 days, time served. You're not to return to the Steak and Shake property. You're not to have any contact with the witnesses, and you must abide by the trespass warning. You'll also be required to pay court costs.
I do, Your Honor. Does that mean, ma'am, do I go home today, time served?
I think tomorrow. Right? Is that right? Tomorrow? Yes,
I think in
tomorrow.
2 days, Your Honor. Or
Today?
In 2 days.
In 2 days?
it was 5 days with 3 days credit.
Right.
It'll be tomorrow.
Yeah. It's always 1 day less.
Got it, Your Honor.
I just wanted to make sure nothing had changed. That's all it was. Okay. Mr. Heise, is that what you want to do?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right. Did you have an opportunity to read the plea form this morning?
I did. I just skimmed right over it, ma'am. I've read many of them.
All right, sir, do you have any questions about any of the rights you're giving up?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
I do, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
Sir, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 5 days in jail. You've got credit for 3 days' time served. You'll have to pay court costs. Those are going to be due by September 23rd of 2021. You're not to return to the property. You're also to abide by the trespass warning and not have any contact with the witnesses. And you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Heise. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Deborah Olson.
Ms. Holdson, you were here in case number 20 CF 11356. You were arrested for carrying a concealed weapon, resisting officer with violence, resisting officer without violence, fleeing and eluding, and aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer with a deadly weapon. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Bond on count 1 is going to be $150. Bond on count 2 will be $150. Bond on count 3 will be $100. Bond on count 4 will be $2,500. Bond on count 5 will be $2,500. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning.
Your name?
My name is Carl E. Robinson Jr.
Mr. Robinson, this is 19MM859. This was reset from yesterday for a potential plea. The offer, as I understand it, was an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, along with court costs. Mr. Robinson, did you want to enter a plea today?
What was the plea offering?
It is an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, and court costs.
And the court costs include the cost of investigation
So I have to
to
pay
the
the
Ocoee Police,
Oh, I'm sorry.
to the Ocoee Police Department in the amount of $145.52.
Okay, and then is there no return?
A no return, abide by all trespass warnings, no contact with witnesses.
Mr. Robinson, did you want to accept the offer?
So I'll have to pay for, what will I be paying $150 for?
For the cost of investigation. That's
Your-
to the police department. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, if I may, I believe, or, I'm so sorry. Can we check to make sure that he's not on probation anywhere, or is that something that PTR checks?
Sure.
Oh, no, I'm not on probation.
You're not on probation, Mr. Robinson?
Thank you.
But yes, I take that plea offer.
All right, did you have an opportunity to read the plea form this morning?
I'm sorry?
Did you have an opportunity to read the plea form?
I scanned through it.
All right, well, why don't you read it? Those are your constitutional rights that you're giving up, so I want to make sure you understand what you're doing. And Ms. Bush, there's no restitution.
No, all of the merchandise was recovered.
Okay, but you don't say how long I have to pay? How long it take me
I'm
to
going to
pay?
give you 1 year,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about anything that you read?
No,
And you just told me you're not on probation, correct?
that's correct.
You understand if you are not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
I'm not.
Sir, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty.
Okay.
How much time does Mr. Robinson have?
3 days.
Sentence you to 3 days in jail. You have credit for 3 days' time served. You're going to have to pay court costs, which includes the cost of investigation to the Ocoee Police Department in the amount of $145.58. You are not to return to Walmart and abide by the trespass warning or have contact with any of the witnesses. Your court costs are going to be due by September 23rd of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
Okay, so you said I would be in for 3 days?
You've already been in. You'll be released
Oh,
today.
I already did 3 days. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, your name?
Dwayne Sobers.
Mr. Sobers, you're here in 20 MM 6921. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ma'am, good morning. Could you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
Kimberly LaFrance, Thomas Sobers.
Ms. Sobers, I'm going to need you to move closer to the microphone for me, please, so that we can hear your responses. Thank you. Do you want to have contact with your husband?
No.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Sobers, I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Sobers, you're not to have any contact with your wife. You are to maintain a separate residence.
Okay.
You may return with the police one time to get your things if needed, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Yes.
I will place you on pretrial release at this time. Do you have
what
any
do-
questions
what do
about
that
anything
mean?
that I've ordered?
What do that mean?
It means that you won't have to pay any money to get out of the jail today, but you will be supervised by the pretrial release program while you're waiting for your case to go to court.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Ma'am, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Your name?
John Updike.
Mr. Updike, you are here in case number 20MM471. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with the police to get your things if needed. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms, and you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. I will place you on pretrial release at this time. Do you have any questions about anything that I ordered, Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Okay.
I just, once again, I'm trying to understand the process of this.
Sure.
I'm allowed to get my stuff, and because everything I have is there. I was
Right.
arrested in our property.
Right.
And driver's license information, cannot obtain that even new without the old information.
Right.
I'm going to be able to accommodate that.
Yes, so you can go back one time, like I said, with the police. You're going to call the non-emergency number for your local police department, and they'll be able to explain to you what you need to do. They'll meet you there, I'm thinking. And then you can take your personal belongings. So you can't move out furniture, TVs, that kind of thing. You can go in and get the things you need for work, your clothes, your personal items, any, thing like that you need.
Do we need to wait till a later date for specifically shared items like real estate?
Well, that would be
vehicles, things
something
like
that
that?
this court would not handle. That would be in family court.
So vehicle, I'm allowed to,
If it's your car,
our names are on all of the vehicles. How do we choose which vehicle? I mean, is there an issue with it?
I can't help you with that,
Okay,
sir.
I just want
Yeah.
to make sure before I get
If I
there.
were you, I'd call a family attorney when I was released from the jail.
Okay. all
Okay?
right.
And they'll be able to give you the best advice on that and what you need to do to get additional items that you may
Okay.
need. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Did Mr. Loomis bond?
Yes, bonding, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, what docket was that on?
He was traffic. It was a duelist and a possession less than 20.
Thank you.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Christopher Corbett.
What about Dana Nielsen?
She bonded also,
Thank you.
and Raul Rivera bonded.
Okay.
Mr. Michael Blackman is medical.
1 second. This is in the arraignment docket. Mr. Blackman is the first one on the arraignment docket. And Mr. Blackman's medical?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And that's case number 20 CT 5678. Ms. Williams, he is represented by your office. Would you like to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
All
And
right.
set this case for pretrial conference.
That is going to be reassigned to Judge Gibson. That's Division 80. Pretrial conference is November 10th at 9 a.m., courtroom 9C. And are you Mr. Corbett? Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. You are here in 20 CT 5680. This is your arraignment for the offense of driving without a valid driver's license. You are represented by the Public Defender's Office. Ms. Williams, did you receive an offer for Mr. Corbett?
I did, Your Honor, but Mr. Corbett is on felony probation right now, so we'd like to keep the plea of not guilty in place and set this for pretrial conference.
Sure. So that again is going to be Division 80, Mr. Corbett. You're going to have Judge Gibson. Your pretrial conference date is November 10th at 9 a.m. in courtroom 9C.
I didn't get.
Pardon me?
I didn't get what you were saying.
So I just gave you a new court date on this case for driving without a valid driver's license, and it's going to be on November 10th in front of Judge Gibson.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you, sir.
And Your Honor, is that 9C as in Charlie or B as in Baker?
Charlie.
Charlie, thank you.
Mr. Arazo de Jesus? Okay. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Luis Erazo de Jesus.
This is case number 20 CT 5679. This is your arraignment, sir, for the offense of driving while license suspended or revoked with knowledge. Ms. Williams, how would he like to proceed?
Just one moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
So unfortunately, I don't have too many notes on this case. Does the state have an offer in this case?
The offers that were conveyed, this was a no offer. He has a related case that's pending, 2020 MM 6702-0, and that has not yet been filed on.
Okay. So based upon that, Mr. De Jesus, you're probably going to want to enter a plea of not guilty.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that what you'd like to do?
Yes,
Okay.
enter a plea of not guilty so that we can have a chance to speak with you about your case and set this case for pretrial conference.
Okay. Mr. Arazo, is it with an E? Would you put his last name as an E?
Yes.
Okay. So that's going to be Division 80, Judge Gibson. Your pretrial conference date is November 10th at 9 a.m., sir, and that's courtroom 9C. Thank you.
And the next one is also a related case pending.
Is it at 9 o'clock? Yes. Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
April Johnson.
Ms. Johnson, you're here in 20 CT 1455. This is your arraignment for the offense of driving without a valid driver's license. Ms. Williams, how would she like to proceed?
We'd like to keep the plea of not guilty in place and set this case for pretrial conference.
All right. Ms. Johnson, you're going to be in Division 85. That's in front of Judge Allen. Pretrial conference is November 2nd at 9 a.m., courtroom 4A. Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
And Baker was no offer.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Wilgan Sherry.
Wilgan Sherry?
Yes.
Sir, this is case number 20MM2985. This is your arraignment for the offenses of petty theft and resisting officer without violence. Looks like this is a violation of probation.
It is, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Ms. Williams, you want to enter a denial?
at this time, Your Honor, so that Mr. Sherry can have a chance to talk with an attorney on this case.
Sure. This is a Division 63 case, which is Judge Bigney. Pretrial conference is October 8th. Oh, you're right. So, Mr. Sherry, I apologize. Your court date's going to be October 7th at 9 a.m. in courtroom 12C. That's your VOP status date. Thank you, sir.
What about the other
About what?
charge?
I don't know about your other charge. How about Mr. Pharaoh? Are you Mr. Pharaoh?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
This is 20 MM 5004, your arraignment for the offense of exposure of sexual organs. Ms. Williams, how would he like to proceed?
We'd like to keep the plea of not guilty in place and set this case for pretrial conference. Mr.
This-
Pharaoh, I apologize, Your
That's
Honor.
okay.
I'm actually your attorney on this case, so I'm going to get some contact information from you while you're in custody, and I'll give you a call probably in a day or so. Okay?
Will I be going quick today now?
Not today.
Will I have a bond at least?
So, let's see. Your Honor, if you wouldn't mind letting us know what the bond amount is in this case?
Does Mr. Pharaoh have a bond on this case?
She said it's set at 0.
Oh, it's set at 0. Was it revoked, maybe?
I believe this was a failure to appear.
Yeah, it was a failure to appear. It came in as a no bond.
I turned myself in, ma'am, when I had the warrant because the paperwork I had got before my court date, I was misunderstood and I didn't know my court date was on that day.
Yes, Mr.
So I came late on the court date and so I turned myself in and I don't know what else to do now but to either get a bond or...
Give me 1 second, okay?
Okay.
Ms. Williams, you represent Mr. Pharaoh?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, did you want to get some good contact information from him?
I would, and if so, afterwards, would you entertain a motion for a bond or to reinstate the bond?
Ms. Woods, I got a little bit ahead of myself. I forgot that this was an arraignment and not an initial appearance.
Okay.
So you'll have to just file your motion with Judge Johnson and get the state's position and see maybe if he could do that
I
in
could do
chambers.
that.
I don't know, but in my mind, I was thinking of it as an initial appearance. So Mr. Pharaoh, Ms. Williams is going to file a motion to see if Judge Johnson will set a bond for you, okay? In the meantime, I'm going to give you a court date. Your pretrial conference is going to be October 19th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 6B.
Here?
No, downtown.
Oh, so I'll be going downtown from here?
I don't know how they're doing the pretrial conferences for the in-custody people.
So I'm gonna file a motion to try to get you out of custody before then, but if not, you probably won't be brought down for that hearing. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Robinson is mental health, Your Honor.
All right, that's 20 MM 5551. Mr. Robinson is being arraigned on the offense of trespass on property other than a structure or a conveyance. Ms. Williams, would you like to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Robinson, that's going to be Division 83. That's in front of Judge Bain. Pretrial conference is October 5th. Okay, that's interesting. Have they indicated how they want you to pick what day? No. Okay, so we're just using the 26th? Okay. So on the Robinson matter, pretrial conference is October 26th at 9 a.m. That's courtroom 6C. It's dangerous. You could get all one set on a day.
Trevor Dolan, medical.
What kind of case is Mr. Dolan? A plea on the add-on? On Mr. Dolan?
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
So Ms. Williams, your office either can try to coordinate that for the Polycom docket or reset it here, because Judge Dubois is now on the out-of-county Supreme Court order to be able to take the Polycom pleas downtown. This is on the add-on docket on page 2.
Okay.
It's Trevor Dolan. It's an Osceola County case. Do you see it?
I don't yet.
Do you have the
But I'll be able to
actual
find it in
add-on?
clerks.
And was that mental health?
He's
Trevor Dolan. Okay, thank you so much. Your Honor, I will get that scheduled.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, Judge Dubois can now do the Polycom pleas downtown if you can coordinate that, or if you want to reset it here when he's out of medical on my docket, either way.
Perfect.
Okay? All right. And then next I have Alexa Addison. Misdemeanor pleables. Are you on the add-on, Dexter?
I'm still on the add-on.
Oh, no problem. Okay.
We have Mr. Howard, Mustafa.
Okay. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
My name is Mustafa Howie.
Howie's your last name?
Howie, yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howie, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Sir, this is a Polk County case. (19 MM 2577), where you have been alleged to have violated your probation by failing to report as directed for the months of June through November of 2019. You failed to provide compliance with a ordered mental health evaluation, and you didn't complete your work release or pay your cost of supervision of $200. Judge Figers and Judge Griffin have made a plea offer of, upon admission of admitting that you violated your probation, that you will be, your adjudication will be affirmed and that you will be given time served. Your probation will be revoked and terminated, and all of your fines and costs will be reduced to a judgment. Did you want to accept that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Does that mean that I will be released today with no more probation with Polk County?
Well, as to this case, I don't know what other cases in Polk County you may have or that you may be on probation for.
This is the only violation of my probation. Actually, this case was supposed to be resolved because I had got incarcerated in Orange County last year in November, and Polk County came and I was transported to Polk County and given a release date of December 25th, 2019, and the day after was when I violated my probation again. So my probation was supposed to be terminated as of December 25th, 2019.
So I don't have any information about that, and if you think that you've already resolved this case, you might want to not accept the plea and talk to a lawyer. You're more than welcome to do that. But I just have the information that was given to me by Polk County that you're on probation for battery, you were sentenced for 12 months of probation and were adjudicated guilty, and then I just outlined for you how it's alleged that you violated your probation. If you accept the offer today, your probation will be revoked and terminated. You will have to pay all of your court costs.
I will have to pay my court costs before I'm released, or?
No. They're going to be reduced to a judgment, but if you don't want to have the judgment, then you'll have to pay them.
Oh, yes, ma'am, I accept.
Okay. Dexter, do we have a violation of probation form in here? So, Mr. Howie, if you, by Admitting that you violated your probation today, you're going to give up your right to have a hearing on whether or not you did violate your probation. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you're going to give up your right to have the state of Florida prove by the greater weight of the evidence that you did violate your probation.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're going to give up your right to present any evidence, witnesses, or defenses on your behalf regarding your violation of probation. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And as a result of your admission today, this case will be over. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that's what you'd like to do?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll accept your admission. I will reaffirm your adjudication of guilt, revoke and terminate your probation, and all of your fines and costs will be reduced to a judgment lien, sir. You do have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. Thank you, Mr. Howie. Good morning, your name?
Alexia Addison.
Ms. Addison, you are here in case number 20MM6918. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning.
Yes.
There is probable cause. Ms. Bush, do you have an offer for Ms. Addison?
If I may have just a moment to get to that part of the docket. Yes, Your Honor, it's a withhold of adjudication. No contact with witnesses. She would get credit for 2 days' time served. No return to the scene, which is the Cypress Point Apartments, and abide by all trespass warnings and court costs. I did want to note on the record, she has no history. She could be eligible for a diversion program.
So, Ms. Addison, at this time, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. That way you can talk to the public defender about what your options are on the case. But you are not to return to the Cypress Point Apartments, ma'am. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning. Your name?
Michael Cardona.
What is it?
Michael Cardona.
Are you Michael Cardona?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
How about Derek Brooks?
No.
Like Mr. Brooks isn't coming tomorrow?
No,
Okay, that's 20 MM 6897. Mr. Brooks was arrested for trespass in a structure or a conveyance. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. He's not to return to the Lee Vista Apartments, and I'm going to release him on his own recognizance. Mr. Cardona, good morning. You're here in case number 20 MM 6911. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning. There is probable cause. Ms. Bush, do you have an offer for Mr. Cardona?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no contact with witnesses, no return to the Lynx Central Depot, and abide by all trespass warnings and court costs.
Thank you. Mr. Cardona, did you want to accept the offer?
Yes.
Yes?
2 days,
Right, you've been here for 2 days already.
so I get to go today.
That's right.
But you know, can I just politic a little bit?
Go ahead.
I was in there.
Mr. Cardona?
My sister, my mother, I mean, I really don't know what's going on, but you know, like they really not doing me right.
Mr. Cardona? My name is Brianna Williams. I'm a public defender. I just want to make sure that you're not talking about the facts of your case because we are being recorded right now.
Ms. Williams, she's gonna enter a
She
plea.
said I could speak. Anyway, I took all my property. I couldn't deal with it. She had me in somewhere. So I took all my property and I walked with it. I took the bus. No, I paid a cab. And then I left it at Lynx. And I'm trying to... And the officer told me, you can't stay in here.
Right.
So I took all my property. I'm like... And then I placed it. And That's what happened. I just lost everything, you know? So that's why I was telling the officer,
I
came
understand.
back later on, and I was telling him, listen, they stole my Anyway, it's okay, man. Whatever. I don't know.
Mr. Cardona, did you read the plea form?
Now you're gonna make me plead. Okay, I'm good with that. Oh,
You all right?
and more charges. It's bad. I'm gonna beat up. Yeah, man. I plead guilty. That's how it's always been.
Well, you can plead no contest. That's saying you're not saying you did it, you're not saying you didn't, you're just saying the state of Florida could probably prove it.
It's okay.
You want to do that?
Then what? Then I get to go it's either way?
What?
Is it all the same plea?
No.
Okay, I'm just gonna plead guilty
Okay.
to this bogus.
Mr. Cardona, did you read the plea form?
And then if I don't plead guilty, I have to go to trial. And I don't know. I just don't like this.
Mr. Cardona,
So
you
that's
initially
what it
told
is.
me you wanted to plead. So I let
All
you
right.
tell me what you wanted to tell me.
It's okay. I appreciate it. I pleaded
And
guilty,
if
and
you don't
that's
want to
it.
do it, you're absolutely welcome to not take the offer.
I
and go to
pleaded
trial.
guilty, man. I'm good with that.
All right. Are you sure?
Yes, man.
Okay. Did you read the plea form before court?
Yes, I did.
Are you on probation?
No, I'm not.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Oh. Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, I'm not.
All right, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You're not to return to the Lynx bus station or have any contact with the witnesses. You need to abide by the trespass warning. So, Mr. Cardona, look at me.
Yes, for how long, ma'am?
Just look, it's usually 1 year. So you need to look at the warning that they gave you because it'll be written on the warning. But listen to me, you can't go back there because every time you go back there, they're gonna arrest you. You understand?
That's okay, ma'am.
All right, sir, you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
You have a good day.
How about Mr. Luck?
Mr. Luck is not here.
All right. Mr. Luck won't be coming tomorrow either? Okay. Ms. Williams, did you want to waive Mr. Luck's appearance? They're saying he's basically in quarantine, so it'll be 14 days before he's able to come.
Yes, I can waive his appearance and set
Okay.
this, or keep a plea of not guilty in place.
So this is 20 MM 6919. He was arrested for trespass on property after warning. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. He's not to return to the scene. Bond is $500, and I'll take no action on the out on bond cases. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Todd Goulet.
Mr. Goulet, this is 20 MM 6909. You were arrested for petty theft. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Bush, was there an offer for Mr. Goulet?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no contact with witnesses, no return to the scene, which is the Walmart on East Colonial Drive, abide by all trespass warnings, and court costs, if I may have just one more moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
And the state would have to ask for an order in reserve of restitution, as there were food items as well.
Okay. Mr. Goulet, did you want to accept the offer?
Does that mean I did my time already?
Right, so you would be sentenced to 2 days. You already have 2 days credit. You're not to return to the Walmart. I'm going to order in reserve as to restitution, meaning what you might owe Walmart for the items that they couldn't keep because you stole food, so they might not have been able to use the food still. So I have to order in reserve. I'll reserve for 60 days for the state to be able to show how much that amount may be.
Okay.
You want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you read the plea form before court?
I did.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights you're giving up?
I do not.
Are you on probation?
I am not.
Do you understand that this plea will result in your deportation if you're not a U.S. citizen?
I understand.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
Sir, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You're not to return to the Walmart. You must abide by the trespass warning. I will order and reserve restitution for 60 days as to the amount. You will have to pay court costs, which are due by September 23rd of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Your name?
Brian Simpson.
Mr. Simpson, you're here in 20 MM 6912. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning. There is probable cause. Actually, is there an offer for Mr. Simpson?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to any property of the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority or Orlando International Airport, no contact with witnesses, abide by all trespass warnings and court costs.
Mr. Simpson, did you want to accept the offer?
Yes.
Did you read the plea form, sir, before court?
Yes.
Any questions about the constitutional rights you're giving up?
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You're not to return to any of the Greater Orlando Aviation properties or the Orlando International Airport. You'll have to pay court costs, which are due by September 23rd of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing, sir. Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Miles Conyers.
Mr. Conyers, you were here in 20 MM 6736. You were arrested for battery pursuant to a probable cause warrant. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $500. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You also have an out-of-county warrant for violation of probation related to driving under the influence. In that case, sir, your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you to help you coordinate with Seminole County. I'll also reach out to Seminole County to see if they'd like to modify the bond, and if so, we'll bring you back to court to let you know what the answer is.
May I
Yes,
say
sir.
one thing? You said you reach out to Seminole County about that.
Right.
My probation officer should have sent in something to dismiss that warrant. There's a technicality problem.
Okay.
When do you think, when will you reach out to them and?
So that will probably happen tomorrow.
Okay.
That will go out, and then Seminole County is very good about getting back to me, usually the same day or the following day.
Okay.
So I would think probably by Friday you'll have some information on that.
So
I can't
she
promise
gets-
that, but I think that should be realistic.
And if she gets back to you about that, dismissing the warrant, I'll come in here and then get a bond, or I'll get released.
I don't know, depends on what she says, but you definitely will be brought back to court on that case.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Glenn Welts refused, Your Honor.
All right, I'll find a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court in 20 MM 5014. He failed to appear. His bond is $250.
He's gonna get a new pretrial.
Oh, okay. The Division 82? Mr. Welts is going to be given a court date in Division 82. It's a pretrial conference. That's Judge Dubois. Pretrial conference is October 12th at 10:30 a.m. in courtroom 10B. Thank you, Ernie.
And Your Honor, that was 10B?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sir, good morning.
1 second, Your Honor. Asensio David, misbehavior.
I'm going to find a waiver of his appearance based upon his inability to come to court due to his behavior in 20 MO 937. He was arrested for disorderly conduct. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. His bond is $500. Mr. Shelton, how are you this morning?
This is Mr. Haddon, Your Honor. Mr. Shelton refused.
All right. Mr. Haddon, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good.
Sorry that I called you, Mr. Shelton. This is 20MO938. Mr. Shelton, you were arrested for state misdemeanors.
Mr. Haddon,
I'm sorry, Mr. Haddon. I keep doing that to you. I'm very sorry.
Stephen Moore Haddon. What are my charges?
State misdemeanors, urinating or defecating in public and indecent conduct.
Just 2 charges?
3.
3. What'd you say, some kind of, what's the charges?
Mr. Haddon, you were arrested for going to the bathroom in public, indecent conduct, and state misdemeanors.
And
which
what?
is trespassing in this case.
Oh, trespass.
Okay, Ms. Bush, do you have an offer for Mr. Haddon?
I do not, Your Honor.
Now, this is for the trespassing, huh? Conduct.
Mr. Haddon, do you have any money?
No.
Where are you staying right now?
I'm on the street.
Mr. Haddon, you know you can't go back to the 7-Eleven on Rosalind, right?
That's not where I was at just then.
What?
When I was arrested, I was at 7-Eleven.
Well, that's what they're saying, that you were arrested and you've been trespassed.
I wasn't at 7-Eleven.
Mr. Haddon, I'm not saying you were there.
I
I'm
wasn't
telling you-
urinating in public. That was anything wrong, even if
Mr.
I
Haddon,
did. Someone can make the arrest, there's anything wrong with it. I had no bad conduct, and I wasn't at the 7-Eleven.
Okay, I'm not saying you were there.
Okay then.
What I'm saying to you is you can't go to the 7-Eleven on
All right,
Rosalind.
whatever, yeah. Then they didn't 7-Eleven anyway.
Okay, I'm trying to
Another
help you, but you're not being very
I'm
cooperative.
not trying to be uncooperative. I'm not trying to be not helped. I'm trying to be helped. I'm not trying to be helped. I mean, I'm just concerned about the fact that I was at the 7-Eleven, they got me here and all that.
Okay, well, that's what the
And then Lawrence
affidavit
said
says. I'm
7-Eleven,
just going
so
off
why-
of what that
point.
says.
Okay, what are we talking about?
Would Your Honor entertain
We're talking about
entertain a motion for ROR at this time?
That's what I'm trying to get to, but I'm
Yes.
trying to get Mr. Haddon to cooperate with me so that I can figure out that we're on the same page.
Yes, Your Honor. I do have a few notes in one of his previous cases from another attorney, and maybe I can fill in the gaps in that information
Sure.
that you're asking about. It looks like he's been in Orlando for 4 years. His housing, I
That's
guess, he does experience some housing instability, right? So
Yeah,
you
I had
stay in
William while
hotels
staying
and
and
things like
stuff.
that. Is that correct, Mr. Haddon?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a P.O. box or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Not
Do
this
you, upon release, would you reach out to the public defender's office to give us a way to get in contact with you?
Certainly.
Based on that information, Your Honor, we'd like to ask the court to release Mr. Haddon on his own recognizance at this time. It's pretty clear that he has no ability to
I know there's
afford
a
a
public
bond.
defender's office. There's no place to go.
And as we know, he's entitled to a
I'll
bond.
get a place to stay.
Any monetary bond in this case would act as no bond.
Right. Mr. Haddon, you know where the public defender's office is, right?
Yes,
All right, you need to follow up with your lawyer, okay?
certainly.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
All
the
right.
court's not taking any action
No,
on
I'm
his,
not.
out on release.
Thank you, Ms. Bush.
Oh, why not?
This way.
Yeah.
How you doing, Your Honor?
I'm doing well, sir. Just give me 1 minute. And then for Mr. Shelton in 20MO938, he was also arrested for state misdemeanors. He's not to return to the 7-Eleven and is about to abide by the trespass. I'm releasing him on his own recognizance. Are you Mr. Henderson?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Henderson, sir, you are here in case number 20MO940. You were arrested for disorderly conduct, state misdemeanors, and false information. There is probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Henderson?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served. And if I may have just one moment. And court costs, Your Honor.
Mr. Henderson, do you want to accept the offer?
Yes, ma'am. I'll take that.
Okay. Did you read the plea form before court?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Henderson, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty. I'll sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You are going to have to pay court costs. Those will be due by September 23rd of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any action on his out on bond case, Your
Oh,
Honor?
no, no action.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Joseph King.
Mr. King, you are here in 18 CF 9226. It's a violation of probation. It is alleged that you committed the new law offense of burglary of a dwelling with an assault or battery in 20 CF 11426 on 9/22 of 2020. Your bond, sir, is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ian Mann is medical.
Ms. Williams, I'm going to appoint your office to represent him on the violation of probation and the new law offense.
Yes,
Did you
Your
want to waive his appearance?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Your Honor.
And that's in 20 CF 11465. He was arrested for lewd or lascivious exhibition by a person greater than 17. There is probable cause.
And at this time, we'd just like to enter a plea of not guilty and set it for pretrial conference.
Well,
For,
at this-
no admission, and set it for the next court date. I apologize, Your Honor.
So in this one, this is a new arrest, so the state hasn't filed an information yet. So he'll actually be, once the state makes a charging decision, they will file an information and then it'll be set for arraignment in a felony division. So you don't have to enter the plea of not guilty. I was just gonna do his initial appearance and then set the bond.
That works, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
So in that case, the bond will be $10,000. And that provides the factual basis for the violation of probation in 19 CF 7072. In that case, bond will be set at none. And then he has reporting requirements when he's released.
Do you have any, did you get him in the condition?
Nope. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Tony Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, you were here in case number 15 CF 8443. It is alleged that you have violated your probation by committing the new law offense of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, domestic violence, and aggravated abuse on an elderly or disabled adult in 20 CF 11392 on September 20th of this year, as evidenced by your arrest. There's probable cause for the violation of probation, sir. I'll appoint the public defender. Your bond is set at none. You will see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days. Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Good morning, Edwin Bermudez.
Mr. Bermudez, you are here in case number, oh, this is an out-of-county warrant from Seminole County, sir. Your bond is, it's related to petty theft. Your bond is set at $500. I'm not going to take any action on your Orange County case, sir.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
Is it possible for me to bond out of this jail, or do I have to go to Seminole County to get?
You do not. You can post your bond from here
And I
for the
could be-
Seminole County case.
And I could be released from here?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. And
Thank you.
one more thing.
Yes.
How long would it take for me to get to Seminole County?
They're not coming to get you.
They're not going to come get me?
No, they're not moving inmates between the jails because of the coronavirus, so they're not going to come get you.
Okay, so what now?
Well, can you pay your bond?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I could, but it's going to take no.
Okay, so what I normally do on the out-of-county cases is if the person is unable to post their bond, we contact Seminole County to see if they would like to modify the bond amount. The public defender here in Orange County has been appointed to represent you, so you will have a lawyer here to help you on your Seminole County case. Some people get a bond modification, some people end up entering a plea on the case. So you'll have to talk with your lawyer about that. So that will take some time, so you might want to work on seeing if you can post the bond.
Okay.
And Mr. Bermudez,
Yes,
someone
ma'am.
from my office will be in touch with you. They'll call you over the blue box.
Okay.
And they'll talk with you about your case.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, your name?
Tariq Barker.
Mr. Bacher, you are here for a case out of Polk County. It's related to a violation of probation. Your bond is set at none, sir. I will appoint the Orange County Public Defender to represent you, to help you coordinate with Seminole County. Once I hear back from with Polk County with respect to what they want to do with your case, we'll bring you back to court to let you know.
You said a VOP?
It says VOP on the teletype.
I already had bonded out on my VOP. I came to court last week for that.
There's an active warrant on your case, sir. I don't know. That's, again, you'll have to talk with the lawyer about that. I just am telling you what the warrant said, what the teletype said. I don't have any information on the out-of-county cases. Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Rachel Douglas.
Ms. Douglas, you are here on a warrant out of Brevard County. Your bond on count 1 is $5,000. Your bond on count 2 is $2,000, ma'am. We will reach out to Brevard County to see if they'd like to make any modifications to the bonds. If they do, we'll bring you back to court to let you know what they are. But the Public Defender's Office here in Orange County will be appointed to represent you and help you coordinate with Brevard County.
Okay.
All right?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When do I go back to court? Because I'm not a bad person. I had an accident last night, and I've got 1 year clean. I've got a job. I've got a kid. I need to get out of here and go back to work.
I understand, ma'am. So there's a bond set on your case, so you can post the bond. I've also appointed a lawyer here in Orange County to help you coordinate with Brevard County on your case, okay? So if you can post the bond, great. Otherwise, you'll need to work with the lawyer to see what other options are available. Thank you.
Good morning,
Sir,
Your
good
Honor.
morning. Your name?
Robert Pabon.
Mr. Pabon, you are here for an out-of-county warrant out of Osceola County. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. It's related to aggravated stalking. Your bond is set at none. If Osceola County wants to modify the bond, I'll bring you back to court and let you know what the modification is, sir.
Your Honor, is there any way that I can get a bond, or how do
You
I?
have to have your lawyer file a bond motion. All right? In the meantime, I'll ask Seminole County if they want to make any modifications, but you need to talk with your lawyer about that.
Okay, I'm just, I don't have much of a record, and I don't understand why I wouldn't have any bond whatsoever.
I don't have any information. Let me see that case again.
Yeah, I have like 2 misdemeanors, 0 felonies. The aggravated stalking, I was with my girlfriend
Mr. Pabon, right?
within a few hours. Like, I don't know how.
Mr. Pabon? Let's
Yes.
just make sure that we don't talk about the facts that led to your arrest, okay? Someone from my office will be in contact
need
with
a
you.
bond as
And
soon as possible.
they'll call you over to the
Shouldn't
blue
be
box,
here
and
for
they'll talk to you about
days
it.
and
Mr. Pabon, you
days.
have to listen. I know you're frustrated. so
Absolutely,
just listen
yeah,
to me,
of
okay?
course.
So this is probably what the situation is. It's an out-of-county warrant. It's an Osceola County warrant. anything in this circuit, in the Ninth Circuit, if it's a domestic violence related type case, they all come in at no bond. I don't have any facts about your case to even decide what the bond would be. So I have to contact Osceola County
Yes, ma'am.
and get the information before a bond can be set.
I understand it. To me, for some cases, it's ridiculous. I know you have zero facts. To me, this is absolutely ridiculous.
All right, thank you, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Tell me your name.
Jennifer Patton.
What is it?
Jennifer Patton.
Ms. Patton, you are here for an out-of-county warrant out of Osceola County in 20 CT 1211. Your bond, ma'am, is set at $2,999. Is that the only one? All right, Ms. Patton, are you going to be able to post that bond?
I can. Am I able to? Because for some reason the people that were gonna bond me out, they said they went to the bondsman. The bondsman came up to the jail, and they said something about a hold. But I don't know if they're just telling me that, or like, am I able to? If they pay the bond, am I able to bond out of Orange?
Yeah.
For
The
both.
only hold I see is an Osceola County hold. Does she have any other holds?
It's just the Osceola County. Just Osceola County.
Okay. Do you have an Orange County case too?
I mean, when I went to jail, when they got me for the out of county, the person that was driving put something under my seat, and he's
Okay,
saying,
wait.
Okay,
Don't talk to me about that.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why you would have had the Osceola County hold. So now you won't have any holds, and if you have bonds on all of your cases, your bond can be posted.
As of right now,
That's right.
this court date. Okay.
Okay.
So,
And, Your Honor, does the court have 2 Osceola cases, out-of-county warrants? The state has 2 different case numbers. There's the
only have-
CT case and there's a CF case.
I do not have a CF, just the CT.
She saw on the CF case on the 21st, so probably
Okay.
with Judge Wish.
All right.
what does that mean?
You were already seen on the Osceola County felony matter, so you shouldn't have any other holds.
Okay. Does that mean I still have to go to Osceola? I have to wait for them to come get me?
They're
or-
not gonna come get you. So if you bond out, you're
Okay.
gonna have to follow up with your lawyer in Osceola County to see when your court dates are. If you don't bond out, then eventually your cases will get resolved either here or there.
And that's as of this court right now.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. Good morning, your name?
Holtis.
Ma'am, you're here in an out-of-county warrant from Seminole County related to grand theft of a motor vehicle. Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender here in Orange County to assist you in coordinating with Seminole County. You also have a violation of probation related to possession of methamphetamine where the bond is set at none. Again, I will appoint the public defender to represent you to coordinate with Seminole County, ma'am. Thank you.
And when?
Thank you.
Brianna Williams, public defender.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
I could say I was a former public defender
You could have added that, yes.
40 years ago.
If you'd like to represent our office today and make my job a little easier, we'd
Just
appreciate
all
it.
time,
You're doing a superb job. And you make it look easy.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Tell me your name, please.
It's Son Win.
Mr. Nguyen, you are here in case number 20 CF 11309. Mr. Mead is present. Your attorney as well. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. Mr. Mead, were you asking to be heard with respect to bond?
Right, there's 2 things. He has another case, 2020 CF 9446, that Ms. Bush and I were going over. I want to make sure his bond doesn't get revoked on that. That arrest occurred the same time this was going on. And then he was subsequently arrested yesterday when he was on his way to court, when he was in court, I believe, for the case 2020 CF 9446.
I see that in the warrant.
Okay, so I just find.
Yes.
And then the current bond is 10,000. I asked the court to consider, I think the normal bond would be 1,000 for an attorney.
Okay, Ms. Bush, did you want to be heard at all?
No, Your Honor, the court would, the state would defer to the court. I'm seeing that his last failure to appear was in 2009.
Right.
Of course, there appears to have been a DOC in the intervening years, but
Okay, I'm going to set bond in 20 CF 11309 at $1,000. Mr. Nguyen, you are not to return to Walmart, and I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
see ya.
Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Brittany Brown.
What is it?
Brittany Brown.
How about, did Miss Barriento bond out? Thank you. Miss Brown, you are here in 16 CF 6161. You failed to appear for a status hearing on June 12th of this year. Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender if they weren't previously appointed, and you will have to have your lawyer file a bond motion in Division 16. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Brittany Carlson.
Ms. Carlson, you are here in 20 CF 11442. You were arrested for petty theft with 2 prior convictions and burglary of an occupied dwelling. Ms. Williams?
Your Honor, briefly, I do have a quick PC challenge here for this case, or for one of the charges.
Sure, I'll appoint your office to represent her. Go ahead.
So just putting this on the record, Ms. Carlson was apparently arrested for burglary of a dwelling or of a structure. In this case, I don't see any facts to indicate that she ever entered a structure, or, to indicate that there was a structure for her to enter at that point. And on that basis, we'd like to challenge the probable cause found in this case.
Right, Ms. Bush?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would assert that when Ms. Carlson entered the property, went onto the front of the property at that point, and when she removed the packages, at that point, she had burglarized, she had invaded the plane of the residence, Your Honor. And the state would ask that the court find that there is probable cause for the burglary of the occupied dwelling, as the victim was inside the dwelling and watching this on the door.
All right. I do find that there is probable cause for the burglary of an occupied dwelling. Bond will be set at $2,500 as to that count and $150 on count 1. Ma'am, you're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim.
Question. I don't recall being charged for the burglary.
So those are the charges. Just make sure that you please do not talk about any of the facts that led to your arrest, okay? I just wanted to make sure that you know that.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Pedro Colon.
Mr. Cologne, you're here in 20 CF 11481. You were arrested for accessory after the fact to a 3rd-degree felony. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim, sir. Your bond is $1,000. Thank you.
And Your Honor, may we have a no contact with the co-defendant as well?
Yes, sir. You're not to have any contact with Tracy Haynes. Thank you. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Robert Crew.
Mr. Crew, this is 20 CF 11466. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, 2 counts, and resisting officer without violence. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
Yeah.
Mr. Crew, your bond on count 1 will be $500. Your bond on counts 2, through 4 will be $100. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, your name?
Good afternoon. My name is Atiba Daniel.
Mr. Daniel, just give me a minute. I missed Mr. Daniel's case. Mr. Daniel, you were arrested in 20 CF 10399. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning, attempted burglary of a dwelling, second-degree murder, and possession of MDE. This was pursuant to a probable cause warrant. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Bush, did you want to be heard with respect to bond on count 3?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to take into consideration the facts that are contained within the affidavit to issue the warrant. Those facts that the state believes would support a finding of proof evident or presumption great are the statements of the victim of the burglary, attempted burglary, the investigative measures and the investigative forensic evidence that was obtained. And each of these lead to, and also the statement of the co-defendant in this matter. Well, I take that back, not the statement of the co-defendant, Your Honor. But each of these factors combined led law enforcement to identify Mr. Daniel as one of the people that was trying to break into the home of the victim. And the state would ask that the court find that proof is evident or presumption is great that Mr. Daniel is one of the two that attempted to break into the residence, and when the homeowner fired because he was in fear for his safety and his family's safety, that the co-defendant did get shot and is deceased, Your Honor, and hold Mr. Daniel at no bond.
Ms. Williams responds?
Yes, Your Honor. Briefly, in an effort not to interfere with any potential Arthur hearing that he may have, which is where your attorney on your case will be able to argue for a bond on your behalf, the defense has no argument as to bond in this case.
Okay. So the state has met their burden at this point to establish that there is proof evident or presumption great based upon the information that is contained in the sworn affidavit for your arrest, Mr. Daniel. You're not to have any contact with any of the witnesses in this case or the victims. You're not to return to the scene, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your lawyer can file a bond motion in Division 16, and the judge in that, in Division 16 will determine whether or not you'll be granted a bond. Thank you, sir.
So,
And I am revoking the bond in the out on bond case. That'll be set at none.
You have no bond. The attorney that's going to be on that case is going to file a motion for you, and that's the better.
And
better
Your Honor,
place
is
for them
the
to do
court
so.
staying the bonds on the other counts?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. Sir, your name?
Samuel Eason.
All right. Did Mr. Darcy bond?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, Mr. Darcy is medical.
All right. I'll address that one in just a moment. Mr. Eason, sir, you are here in case number 20 CF 11469. You were arrested for driving while license revoked as a habitual offender. There's probable cause, sir. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $2,500, and I'm not going to revoke your out on bond cases, sir. Thank you.
Can you post that bond in that case? Can you post that bond? Your Honor?
Yes.
Would Your Honor entertain a motion, or would Your Honor allow me to inquire as to his ability to post a bond as well as his connections to the community?
Sure.
All right, so Mr. Eason, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So my name is Brianna Williams, and I represent the Public Defender's Office. And I just want to ask you a couple questions about your ability to post the bond as well as your connections to the community, okay? Are you working right now, or were you working before arrest?
Yes, ma'am.
Where were you working?
I do mobile mechanic.
How much
Mr. Eason, I'm going to stop you. Can you make sure to speak into the microphone so that we can hear you? I know
okay.
you're trying to look at her, but I just need to be able to hear
Yes,
your
ma'am.
answers.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but Mr. Easton would need to be sworn if he's
Yes,
giving
you're-
testimony.
that's right. Mr. Eason, could you raise your right hand, please?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
Yes.
So you were working where, Mr. Eason?
I do mobile mechanics.
And are you paid weekly, bi-weekly?
Yes, ma'am, weekly. Well, I get paid by the jobs.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And can you estimate about how much you make per week?
Like maybe $350, $400 a month.
Do you have any kids, Mr. Eason?
Yes, ma'am. I got one, but he's 20. I take care of old veterans though.
Okay. Do you have any other financial responsibilities besides yourself?
No, ma'am. I mean, bills at home.
Do you have any other form of income?
No, ma'am. Like
How long have you lived in Orlando?
all my life.
Do you have any friends or family members that live here?
Yes, ma'am.
Who are they?
That live here in Orlando. I got sisters, brothers.
Can you give me a name of one of your sisters and one of your brothers?
Okay. One of my sisters named Gloria Johnson, and I have a brother named James Jackson.
If you were to be released today, where would you go?
To my house. I mean.
What is your address?
216 Jean Street, Winter Garden, Florida.
And do you have, at this time, we're asking clients to let us know if they have any medical conditions that make them high risk for the coronavirus. Do you have any medical conditions that make you high risk? For instance, high blood pressure, diabetes, any issues with the lungs or heart?
Yeah, I do have diabetes, ma'am, but, you know, yes, ma'am.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Ms. Bush?
Does anyone live with you at your residence, Mr. Easton?
Yes, ma'am. I take care of 2 veterans.
Two veterans.
Yes, ma'am. They my uncles.
And do you own your home or are you renting?
Well, we rent it.
Okay. And do they also assist with any payments, any monetary needs that they have on their own? You take care of them. Do you do that in exchange for money or?
I just help them out because actually my family member died and left him to me, and I just you know what I mean, whatever need to be done, I do it. If they check ain't in, I mean, I pay the bills if, you know what I mean, they miss out or
Okay.
their
And
ages is like
you-
75.
You sound like a fortunate man that has a lot of relatives here in Central Florida. Have you made any attempts to reach out to them since you've been arrested to see if they can assist you with your bond?
No, man. I mean, they older than me, so I'm figuring that they probably need their money a little bit. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the middle of the month,
So
so
all of your relatives are older than you, your sisters, your
yes, ma'am.
aunts, uncles? Okay. And do you have any accounts, bank accounts, checking, savings,
No, ma'am.
any investments?
No, ma'am.
And what about your business equipment? You are in business for yourself. Do you own your tools and
Yes,
your
ma'am. I
business
own
equipment?
I own my tools and stuff. My wife owned her van, so I mean.
Okay, so there's also a van.
Yes, ma'am.
I have no further questions. Thank you, sir.
So, Mr. Eason, I didn't hear any testimony about what is the amount of bond that you can afford.
Well, I mean, anything a little bit than this, mama. I
Can
mean,
you afford $1,000?
yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll set your bond at $1,000. Mr. Eason, you are not to drive without a valid driver's license. Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
You're already out on bond for that exact offense.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm not revoking that today.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. And Mr. Darcy was medical, is that right? Okay. That's 20 CF 11434. Ms. Williams, I am going to appoint your office to represent him. Did you want to waive his appearance on Mr. Darcy?
I'm so sorry, Your Honor.
That's okay.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Mr. Darcy, that's okay. Mr. Darcy was the gentleman right before Mr. Eason who was medical.
And Your Honor, I missed the question.
Oh, do you want to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Again, I apologize.
That's okay. He was arrested pursuant to a warrant for false and fraudulent insurance claims, grand theft third degree, perjury by contradictory statements, and making false reports. The public defender has been appointed. Bond on count 1 will be $150, bond on count 2, $2,500, bond on count 3, $150, bond on count 4, $150. All right. Mr. Floyd? Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Your name?
Lieutenant Floyd.
Mr. Floyd, this is 20 CF 11443. You were arrested for possession of cocaine. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Floyd, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Tracy Haynes.
Mr. Haynes, this is 20 CF 11474. You were arrested for attempted burglary of a conveyance. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim or return to the scene or any contact with your co-defendant. Your bond is $1,000, and I am going to revoke your bond in 20 CF 4109. That bond's going to be set at none, sir. You also have 20 MM 6923, possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for that offense, and your bond will be $100. Thank you.
And what was the other one before that, the bond?
You have 1,000 and then 100, and then the case that you were out on bond for, I revoked.
Okay, I don't have a bond for them
Not on
anymore?
that one, sir, no. Thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Dustin Hendricks.
Mr. Hendricks, you failed to appear in 18 CF 11522. At this time, your bond is set at none, sir. I will appoint the public defender if they were not previously appointed. You'll have to have them file a bond motion in Division 16. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, your name?
Good afternoon.
Are you Mr. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. Hyman, you're here in 20 CF 11427. You were arrested for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. 2 counts, carrying a concealed weapon by a convicted felon, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver with a weapon, and possession of a firearm with a serial number removed. There is probable cause, sir. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
Thank you.
Bond on count 1 is 150. Bond on count 2, 150. Bond on count 3, 150. Bond on count 4 will be $2,500. Bond on count 6 will be $100. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any controlled substances without a valid prescription.
All right, thank you. How much is that all over?
I'm going to revoke the bond in 20 CT 2017. That bond's going to be set at none, sir.
Huh?
Thank you. Your bond on your DUI, I've revoked it.
So I could bond out?
You cannot.
I cannot?
You cannot. Thank you.
Well,
Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Val.
Mr. Johnson, you were arrested in 20 CF 11404 pursuant to a probable cause warrant for possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams, and resisting officer without violence. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Bond on count 1 is 1,000. Bond on count 2 is 150. Bond on count 3 is 150. And I'm not going to take any action on your driving while license suspended case,
Thank you,
sir.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Your name?
Robert Nielsen.
Mr. Nielsen, you're here in 20 CF 11430. You were arrested for aggravated battery with a weapon and battery. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim or possess any weapons or firearms. Bond on count 1 is $2,500. Bond on count 2 is $1,000. You're also not to return to the scene.
Mr. Cooley is medical, Your Honor.
All right. Is this a medical, like we should, is he going to be here tomorrow?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Miss Williams, I will appoint your office to represent him. Did you want to waive Mr. Quealy's appearance?
Just, if I can just have one moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
Your Honor, I'm asking my supervisor to clear this just in case because
Sure.
this is a PBL.
Okay.
Is it okay if we go to the next client just to wait a
That's
message
fine.
from my supervisor?
Sure.
Thank you.
Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Tashama Rose.
Miss Rhodes, you're here in 20 CF 11475. You were arrested for criminal mischief greater than $1,000. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the scene or have contact with the victim. Your bond is $500, ma'am, and I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond case. Thank you.
Your Honor?
Yes.
The defense is ready to address Mr. Eric Quealy.
Sure.
So we'd like to waive his appearance at this hearing today. I think maybe the state would have some information to put on the record regarding this case because it is a PBO.
Yes. Ms. Bush, did you want to be heard with respect to bond on 20 CF 11439, Eric Quealy?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to take into consideration the affidavit to issue the warrant. In that affidavit, there are the statements of the victim who knows Mr. Quealy and identified Mr. Quealy as the person that perpetrated the crimes on him, and the statements of Mr. Quealy himself, admitting to at least 2 of the acts. The state would ask the court to find that proof is evident or presumption is great that Mr. Quealy is the person so identified and hold him at no bond as to all 3 counts.
And then, Ms. Williams, did you have anything that you wanted to argue with respect to proof evident or presumption great?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. So I do find that the state has met their burden to establish that based upon the information, including the defendant's own admissions contained in the affidavit. And then your office can file a bond motion in Division 22.
Yes, Your Honor.
Jean St. Fleur is medical, Your Honor.
Ms. Williams, again, I will appoint your office to represent Mr. St. Fleur. Did you want to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to appoint the public defender in all 6 of the cases. There's probable cause in each case. He's not to return to the scene or have any contact with any of the victims in any of the cases, and I'm going to stay the bond in each count. All right. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Janar Scott.
Mr. Scott, you're here in 20 CF 11438. You were arrested for burglary of an unoccupied structure. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victims or return to the scene. You're also not to have any contact with your 2 co-defendants. Your bond is $1,500. I'm revoking the bond in 20 MM 3617 and 20 CF 6835. Both of those bonds will be set at none. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, on Scott, he had other cases as well.
Right, he had 6.
On Scott, the one that just left out?
Oh.
He has 2020 CF 11437 and 2020 MM 0473AA.
Yep, I even tabbed. I'm not sure how I missed them, so. In 20 CF 11437, he was arrested for burglary of an unoccupied structure. Sir, again, you're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victims or have any contact with your co-defendant. Your bond in that case will be $150. In 20 MM 473, you were arrested for resisting officer without violence. There's probable cause. Your bond will be $100. And the public defender is appointed on all of your cases. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Sessions?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you were here in 20 CF 11480. You were arrested for burglary of a structure and for grand theft 3rd degree. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to the scene or have any contacts with the victims. Your bond is going to be $1,500 on count 1 and $150 on count 2. Thank you, sir.
Jessica Schaefer is medical, Your Honor.
Should we reset her or not? Okay. Ms. Williams, I will appoint you to represent her. Do you want to waive her appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's 20 CF 11470. She was arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause. I've appointed the public defender to represent her. She's not to return to the 7-Eleven. She's not to possess any controlled substances without a valid prescription. And I'm going to release her on her own recognizance at this time.
Robert Smith is also medical, Your Honor.
Should he be reset?
Oh, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Williams, again, I'll appoint your office to represent him in both cases. Did you want to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
He was arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant in both cases. In 20 CF 11397, he was arrested for burglary of a dwelling and petty theft with 2 prior convictions. He's not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victims. Bond on count 1 is $5,000. Bond on count 2 is $150. And anything that's I didn't say can be stricken from the warrant.
And Your Honor, were those the bonds on both cases?
No, just the first one.
And that was the 11397?
That's right.
Okay.
And then in 20 CF 11398, he was again arrested for burglary of a dwelling and petty theft with 2 prior convictions. Bond on count 1 is $2,500. Bond on count 2 is $150. He's not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victims. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Tavar Stribling, ma'am.
Mr. Stribling, you are here in 20 CF 11441. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for burglary with an assault or battery,
Yes,
tampering in a felony or first-degree proceeding, robbery, petty theft, and battery.
Ma'am, that's all he says, she says stuff.
So, Mr. Stribling, I'm not commenting on whether the facts contained in
okay.
here are true or not. I'm just telling you why you're here, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to set your
sorry.
conditions of release today.
I'm sorry. Okay, thank
Okay? Ms. Bush, did you want to be heard with respect to bond on count 1?
Yes, Your Honor. If I may have just one moment.
Sure.
That's one that I neglected to print. Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to take into consideration the facts contained within the affidavit to issue the warrant. Those facts include statements by the victim and the resident of the home, the victim who has personal knowledge of Mr. Stribling and did identify Mr. Stribling as the person that forced his way into his residence and began punching him, requesting some money that he felt was owed him. The state would ask the court to find that proof is evident or presumption is great that Mr. Stribling is the person so identified by the victim and hold him at no bond.
Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor. So defense is of the position that the best place for someone to argue for a bond on your behalf is at what's called an Arthur hearing, where your felony attorney can argue for a bond. They can put facts on the record for you. They can also put argument on the record for you.
I got kids I'm raising. You know what I mean?
I understand, but listen, you're interrupting your attorney and it's really rude. So
Sorry
I'll
about
give you,
that.
stop talking. have asked you to stop talking. I will give you a moment, but you need to not interrupt, okay?
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. As I was saying, defense is of the position that the best place for someone to argue for a bond on Mr. Stribling's behalf is at an Arthur hearing.
Okay. So at this time, the state has met their burden to establish that there is proof evident or presumption great based upon the facts contained in the affidavit for arrest. At this time, Mr. Stribling, your bond is going to remain at none with respect to count 1. Now listen, let me finish and explain to you so you understand what's going on. Bond on count 2 is going to be $150. Bond on count 3 is going to be $2,500. Bond on count 4, $150. Bond on count 5, $100. Mr. Stribling, you're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. The best opportunity for you to get a bond, Mr. Stribling, is going to be at the second part of this hearing that your lawyer's going to file a motion for in Division 17. You only get one chance. That's what she's trying to explain to you. You only get one opportunity to ask the court for a bond, and you don't want to go forward with that if you don't have all of the information that you would want the court to consider. So your attorney's looking out for your best interest today by having the bond motion be set in Division 17.
What is that?
Pardon me?
I'm lost.
Someone from Ms. Williams' office is going to come talk to you about it and explain it in better detail. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Jessica Tijerina.
Ma'am, you are here in case number 20 CF 11436. You were arrested for uttering forgery pursuant to a probable cause warrant. Ms. Tijerina, your affidavit indicates that you make $600 per week and you have no dependents. Is that correct?
I have 2 kids. Well, I have one biological and one that's not biologically mine.
But you provide support for that second person?
Not for the second one. I do for my daughter.
Okay, so you have one dependent.
Yes.
All right, 600 with one. And it's $600 per week?
Yeah.
And that's your take-home pay?
Give or take, yes.
Okay, she does? Okay. I'm going to make the correction here on your affidavit,
Okay.
and I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $1,000, ma'am.
Is that the only reason? I've been here since Saturday.
Okay.
And I did my first time seeing a judge since Saturday. So I'm confused because I didn't come in here on that charge. That charge was brought to my attention.
This charge is an add-on charge, so when you came in here, they probably were not aware of the warrant.
Okay.
And then, I don't know if you tried to bond out or something like that.
No.
But they probably became aware of the warrant, or it just became active, and then they served it on you.
Okay, so what about in regards to the reason I first initially came in?
Was that for possession of methamphetamine
Yeah.
and possession? Do you have a bond
That
on
was
those
a
cases?
warrant as well. I got picked up on a warrant.
Okay, so you can post your bond on both of these cases.
On both of them? Okay, and how much is that?
This one is $1,000. How much is the methamphetamine case?
500 and 100.
There you go. Okay, so 1,600 is your total bond.
Is there any way I could get that breaking down?
Your lawyer on which case?
Huh? On any of them. I mean,
Ms. Tijerina, where do you work?
right now I'm in between jobs. I work for Biomat, which I'm pretty sure I lost my job. I was supposed to be at work the past 3 days, which is a plasma center.
How long have you lived here in Orlando?
I've been living here in Orlando for about 4 years.
Okay. How old's your daughter?
15.
She lives with you?
Yes, she does.
Miss Tijerina, if I were to set your bond on the uttering case at $500, could you pay that bond?
I could try my hardest, ma'am. I just, I need to get home to my kid.
Sure.
I need to get back to work. I'm hoping I have not lost my job. I work right there off of North Lake in Altamont Springs.
Okay.
At the Biomat. I'm a licensed phlebotomist, so I'm the one that draws the plasma.
Right.
Yeah. I'm also a licensed CNA. I mean, I do credit repair. I literally was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Who's gonna help you post your bond?
Hopefully my mother. I'm hoping. Tomorrow makes 2 years that my father passed away. He was usually my, like, you know, my shoulder I leaned on, but he's been dead going on 2 years. I've basically kind of been on my own since. Me and my mom always had a little rough relationship, but I have spoken with her. She states that, you know, since my father died, he didn't leave anything behind, so it's been really rough on her as well. So we've basically been living paycheck by paycheck, all of us.
Okay, so Ms. Tijerina, what I'm gonna do is on this case, on 20 CF 11436, I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance, but I'm gonna have you drug tested through pretrial release. You're gonna have random urinalysis testing. I
That's
can't
fine.
modify the bond on the first case because it's already gone through initial appearance. Your lawyer would have to file a motion.
Well, no, this is my first time seeing a judge. I haven't seen no initial appearance till right now.
Right, so I think probably what happened, if I can pull that case up, I
Yeah,
think your
please.
appearance was probably waived. Was she in medical, Dexter?
No. I've been just sitting here. Yeah, Judge, I mean, I would do anything I have to abide by to get back to my family. If you're able to R&R me, I would take any drug test 3 times a day if I needed. It doesn't matter. I just need to get back to my job and my kids. My son, he's not biologically mine, but I've raised him since he was 8 months. And he's 12. My kids are straight A students.
So the court minutes indicate that the court waived your appearance due to your behavior, that you weren't able to come to court due to your behavior.
Maybe that's when probably when I first got here, I was sick. Maybe I wasn't feeling real well. I mean, I'm not.
I don't know.
Okay.
But you can have your lawyer file a bond motion.
Okay.
On that. I don't have any jurisdiction at this time to modify that bond.
Okay.
Okay?
So what would it be now? My bond is just
600.
600?
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, ROR with random UAs.
Thank
on
you
the
so much.
case.